stream.
Oh yeah, nice. Smart.
Yeah, don't worry, we are doing this partially to run ad breaks, so that way we can actually get money. But also, the legitimate reason is to make sure that the VODs are all split. We're going to maybe be uploading all these to YouTube. We aren't quite sure yet. I'll have to figure something out about that.
Yeah, I gotta log back into YouTube. Actually.
Yeah, but other than that, we have Free Agents 1 versus the KC Banished coming up here. It's going to be a long day, so everyone get some snacks, get your drinks, make sure that you aren't hungover like Dash's roommates, and have a good time. You know?
Dash's roommates. Why do you hate me?
Hey, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying it as it is, Dash. I'm just calling it as it is.
All right. Sorry about that.
You should be.
All right. Cool. Sorry, having to do a lot of admin stuff in that background there, making sure I can spank all these big boys around. But I did tell them that they are good to go as soon as they're ready to, so we can get this sucker on the road. Misa, are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right. So I mean, Misa, you've played. Um, I guess technically you haven't really played against the now banished, right? So the original banished kind of has transitioned out of the no more Sin Cara and stuff like that. But Raz is still Razin, right? The Susano man himself.
Yeah, so they definitely changed up the roster quite a bit since I last played against them. I personally think that Sin Cara was like the strongest player on their team at the time when we played against them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do without having Sin Cara on their team. Definitely looking forward to seeing how well they do here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Uh,
I know most recently in the ASL playoffs, they did actually this past week lose without Sin Cara. So I'm very interested on how they kind of transition, playing more games together as we're moving forward. Um, their unique play style, right? That's Banished for me is a team that I have never beat in scrims or anything like that. They have a unique play style that I have yet to figure out.
Speaking of,
yeah, they definitely know how to work out the different strategies that their team holds, especially with how they play their roles. I feel like the main thing with them is their support plays very very well with their jungler. It's a lot of setup from the support followed by peel. Um, I've beat them a couple of times in the past just by kind of going with a full dive composition where we were able to get banish on our team so that we could get the ADC into the enemy backline. So that way we had four people diving. It was just kind of like a comp to make it an arena game almost in a team fight. Um, I think that's the only way I've ever managed to beat them at least. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Raz also plays. I mean, like really, like I said earlier, he's the Susano guy. Like that's who he is. I mean, I've seen him on Loretta Taskers, but past Susano and Rat, I mean, up in the air for me on what he will play. Um, but I know if he's on Susano, that man's locked in. Oh, Thor! I've seen him play Thor
yeah.
a fair amount. What? So with that being said, with the jungle kind of transitioning away from a lot of the Susanos, right? What do you kind of want to see out of that jungle?
I feel like for the way Elraz plays, I could definitely see some Ravana gameplay coming into into this coming up set. He definitely I've seen him play the Ravana before and the Camazots, so I think those two picks are going to be his prios here for the jungle. For the most part, though, I think the one to watch out for is going to end up being Sawdolf. We're going to have to see what he picks up in that support role because no matter what he picks up, it's going to be aggressive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been able to play at all against what is now the Banished. Um, um oops, sorry about that. Um, but I mean, here we are with the KC Banished versus the KC Free Agent Team 1. We did just watch KC Free Agent 2. Both teams had had to fight through all 3 games here. So while free agent team 1 was able to play through this, they are now more comfortable with each other. Not I can't really say that as much as for the banished, right? So they've just kind of been sitting around, waiting around for the games to be over. Do you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage?
I definitely think that playing a set already puts them at a little bit of an advantage. Definitely gets them warmed up into that competitive mood. It'll also help with their comms a lot more because they're getting more used to having to make the comms. And I mean they're a free agent team, so they haven't played with each other a whole bunch before. So it's good that they were able to get to know each other a little bit better by playing a set already. Should definitely help them out.
That's interesting. Yeah, we're kind of overshadowing here. Pick some bands. So it looks like we got a Ganesh, Kook, Marty, and on the other side is a Susano, Thor, and Odin. Thor and Susano is something that I've mentioned for Rads here. However, the Charon, not looked at here as of yet, but they did leave open that Hachiman.
Yeah, the Hachiman's definitely a good pick no matter what. It's going to provide them good safety as well as decent poke damage. Definitely got a decent kill secure on that too, so they should be able to pick a little bit more of a damage output jungler rather than a secure jungler. Um, I am going back to that whole thing that I was predicting before. I think it might be a Ravana or a Camazotz here.
Yeah, I mean, the Emoja over the Charon, I'm not much of a fan of. I would much rather see the Charon. I'm trying to figure out what they're looking for here. The Sun Wukong, very surprising. So it looks like we're not going to have a Guardian solo. So we're going to go back to the basics here. The Wukong versus the Achilles. That part can kind of go either way, in my opinion. But, I mean, the Emoja with that healing is going to be very nice. I really hope that the Banish picks up the Charon, though.
I could definitely see Charon being strong here. And I mean that Achilles is yep. There's the Charon that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, with that Charon lock-in, you got Hachi, Charon, Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong a little less meta. I'm personally a fan of it. I know if you've watched this channel often, you know that's one of my guys. That's my guy. But not really one of the better playmakers here of late. However, he can still do very good, especially with the Emoja. The bird can outfly most of what a Emoja can do. And if he does get trapped, he can just kind of outweight Emoja abilities and ultimates.
Ishtar is interesting.
Yeah, the Ishtar into the Charon, to the Hachi. Personally, I don't know what I would want to see. Ishtar is a little odd. I get the idea for the wave clear. You know, you have the Emoja, so I mean, I feel like Emoja's kind of odd, where it's like you can either have a lot of wave clear, or you're lacking it. But the Charon Hachi, I don't think you're out clearing that, in my opinion, at all, ever. Truly, though, I would love to see an AMC come out of Banished and maybe like an Ao Kwang, a Hebo, something like that out of the jungle. Because I think AMC is extremely strong right now.
I think that the Ishtar is definitely an interesting pick, but I think what they're going to be going for here primarily is just a little bit more of hard CC and like coming from the dual lane side, and have a really high damage focus in the mid lane. Having that Ishtar with the ultimate as well as the 2 to like provide anything for the mid laner for any setup or any peel or anything like that. It'll definitely help them if they have somebody who has limited movement and a lot of high DPS.
Yeah, I mean, a Bastet, not what I thought. I mean, we did see a Bastet earlier on today, and it was played very well. Oh, well,
there's a problem
that
with
sucks.
that. Really
that sucks for you. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a great pickup here. You have a Emoja that's going to knock up her team. You have a Bastet that's built to jump in. I think that was a great lock-in right there. You were talking kind of about an explosive mid laner on this Chaos side. What are you kind of thinking about?
If I was to have to draft any mid laner with this composition, I'd probably be looking more towards like probably a Scylla something that has a lot more like high damage output with the burst. That way they can burst, get out because they'll have the E-Star to help them out with that. And then be able to burst again by the time the CCs are done. It's definitely at least that's what I think for this draft. Um, I'm interested to see how they combo it with the Bastet.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Scylla 100%. I mean, with that Baba Yaga locked in, their team is fairly tanky. Morgan Le Fay, though, I don't really mind. However, it's not really that big burst. It's more of another CC utility. So they're a very utility-heavy team rather than that kind of explosive team that you were kind of anticipating there. While on the other side, they're very, very team fight oriented, and it could go one or two ways, right? I mean, Awilix is kind of built for that one person pick, but past that, it's kind of all in for team fights.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Morgan Le Fay tries to survive against a Wukong diving her, as well as having the Karon ult thrown. Both of those gods are really great at countering anybody who doesn't have very much movement, especially when it's like a Morgan Le Fay. She's going to end up ulting, and she's going to get dived on pretty hard.
Yeah.
I imagine it's going to be more of a front to back though, coming from the order side. They're going to be trying to kill that Bastet right out the rip, and then move on towards the back line.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
as a little bit of an update, one of the gamers' games decided to crash, so we're going to be
okay.
having to wait for them.
Gotcha. I mean, so from that perspective here for that mid lane jungle matchup, you do play both. Misa, how are you feeling about the MILF against Awilix here? I personally don't mind it. I think she has a lot of tools to kind of get the Awilix away or keep the Awilix at bay. However, I can also understand that. I mean, just a 3 when she's running away can change the entire thing, right?
I think the biggest thing with the mid to jungle matchup between the Morgan Le Fay and the Bastet, it's going to rely on the support coming from the red team really, really well. Because if the support for the Morgan Le Fay isn't able to force out the blink from the Awilish, like, for the engage, it's going to turn really bad for that Morgan Le Fay. Having an Awilish close to you with a blink is definitely a big issue, especially when you're playing a god like Morgan Le Fay. Because the big thing with a Wheelish is that while she's got her one or her two procced on you, you're not gonna be able to hit her with abilities or anything like that. And the blink, the auto, and the two, it's instant.
Yep.
So, and especially with Elraz, like Elraz on that Wheelish, he is fast with his fingers on those buttons. Like he's fast with the reaction time. So it's going to be a matter of trying to keep that Awilish away from the Morgan Le Fay for the engage because she will one shot the Morgan Le Fay.
Yep. I mean, Raz is definitely one of those players that is very comfortable in his jungle role. I mean, he hasn't really ever changed from it as far as I'm aware. So he knows what he wants. He knows the rotations that he needs to be at. But on the other hand, I mean, the mid laner that he's going to be up against is Badger, right? Badger's a seasoned player, in my opinion, kind of normally known as a support. So I'm very interested to see on how he positions, right? It's completely different positioning from mid to support. I want to see if he's getting caught out because he is trying to transition over to that mid lane, or if he is comfortable with that because they have already played the set together.
So, all I'm going to say is this is the crashing day, as we can now tell. This is now multiple crashes across multiple different gamers, across multiple different teams for this one set. Really sucks for my... sucks for my two casters.
Just got put into a login queue. Then, as soon as I get out of the login queue, my game crashes. I log back in and it crashes again. I think there's some smite issues going on.
Yeah, it appears like there is some smite issues. We're gonna try to make sure that we can still get this tournament rolling here. But ooh, baby, we got some issues, some skill issues. By the way, speaking of skill issue, Loshak, I just want to talk to you about one of the skill issues I saw in this this tournament here. Kappa Corporation got 2-0'd in their round 2. What's up with that?
Yeah, Yeah, so I mean, they did have the two. I can't really say Hunter's a sub. Hunter's played with the main roster for the most part of the existence of V2. Um, so I mean, they had a sub in the solo lane. Playing against some players that we wouldn't normally play against. Right, they're a little bit higher end, pretty much all diamonds. That's their excuse. I'll ask. Hey, I don't know what to tell you, boys. If Papa was there, we definitely take him 2-0 easy. But hey, Papa's got to run the business. You know what I'm saying?
Ah.
Papa got to run the business. But
All
no, in all
right,
seriousness,
so
Krusty's nuts. Played very well. I mean, just looking at the screenshots, he played very aggressively. It could have definitely been a lot of different factors involved there. Unfortunately, we were unable to spectate that one. Don't have enough Twitch channels to be doing that. So truly, I will never know.
Yeah, that team's definitely going to be like one of the stronger teams, considering they have both Promosis and Death on that team. Both of those players are very high level players, so it's interesting to see like all the teams that are coming in and stuff like that, and seeing how they mash up against each other and stuff like that. Because I feel like if we end up seeing the Pixies go up against them, my own team, I know that my ADC absolutely loves the lane against Promosis, so I would love to see those two teams smash up against each other.
Right, right. I mean, and on the bottom end bracket there, the Backdoor Boys did beat the KC Ghouls 2-0. It didn't look very close based on those screenshots, but once again, that's another kind of a mixed match of some gold, platinum players against an almost full diamond roster there. Unfortunately, that's how it goes when it's random picked. Um, it is what it is. But so, I mean, yeah, I would love to see the shine against the Backdoor Boys. Really see what they got there in those finals there. However, they're going to have to get through whoever wins this game between the KC Banished and the KC Free Agent Team #1, if we could ever get into it.
and it looks like we might finally be able to get into it. I'm a bit surprised to not see Sistema. I think that would have been a much more dangerous solo laner to fight against. He's been on my radar for quite a while. But let's go ahead and bring it over to the casters. For once, you're not going to be able to actually listen to my ugly voice. We have Dash Dasher and one of the gamers from the Shine that decided to 2-0 our KC team. So go ahead and speak up, buddy.
Wow, that's absolutely crazy. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I know going into this tournament, I mean, personally, as a player, I was really trying to make myself and my teammates along with me shine. No pun intended. And looking to hopefully make it to the finals and potentially win the whole thing. That's in the goal that all these teams are going with, and like the KC free agent team and the KC banished team here. So I'm still hesitant on why. What do you feel like was the reasoning as to why they felt like the Ishtar was the better pick versus like the other 8 hunters that were up, like Rom, for instance?
I think Ishtar is normally just a comfort pick for most people, especially after her very, very strong release. Sorry, I'm getting myself set up because I'm doing a separate spectator for myself, so I will be a little AFK at the beginning of the matches, but I'm here right now. Yeah, no, I think normally Ishtar is just a very good pick if you're going for fast burn on objectives, or you have to deal with big targets like Cthulhu. It's also a very easy pick to play if this is your warm-up game for the day or something, anything like that.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. I think with like you said, with the objective shred with the Ishtar too, it just absolutely shreds right through objectives. But the thing is, though, they don't have any kind of shred outside of that. They have.
Right.
When I think of Morgan Fay, I kind of think of she's similar to Tiamat in a way.
Yeah.
She's more. She does poke to the other team trying to contest Fire Giant, trying to make sure it's as difficult as possible for the other team to go in and contest Fire Giant. she doesn't really have that secure potential like other mages. And I think and that goes for both teams. I really don't think they have secure for both of these teams. So when they're pulling these objectives, both these teams need to be looking to possibly bait the objective, bait a fight here. And once somebody at those objectives, once one of the teammates steps up a little too far, maybe then they can look to potentially play off the objective after they get what they want out of those fights.
I'm really interested because I have not seen a crit build today, and the Cameron and the Hachimon accidentally switch buffs. Very funny mistake, but sometimes
unfortunate.
It doesn't matter at all too much.
I think
Hachimon has the attack speedness passive.
Yeah, I think with the reason why you haven't seen a lot of crit personally is because, at least as an ADC player myself, being my like third role I love to play sometimes, it's more of the pin build just offers more and it's less costly than the crit items. Because I mean, Deathbringer is like an expensive item, so I think that's partly why people have kind of pulled off away from it, and the fact that Mannequins is so good right now for hunters, and Mannequins doesn't really. I mean, yeah, you got crit. Like Mannequins.
Oh, that is
really
so
pair well.
The best deck got stuck on the silence from the Baba Yaga one.
Very unfortunate there indeed. The silence absolutely coming in clutch there for this KC Banished team. So what exactly, like, I'm curious as to what the best like thought process was. You kind of walk me through that. So you kind of what do you think the best was thinking?
They did this jump, the same thing they're doing right now, which is jumping onto the wave. Just a fairly greedy play, all in all. And then just ended up getting silenced by the Baba Yaga. Something you really can't predict is going to happen to you, just because you don't know what she's going to get off her ability.
That's true. I understand that. So that's a pretty big kill. First blood, less than 2 minutes in the game, towards the Zawilix, who kind of thrives off of it's super easy to run a game as a Willix once you get any kind of lead. She pushes that really hard.
Right.
She's become more a late game character than she used to be in the past when she was early game. Oh, hold that thought, as there is a potential gank over here in dual lane. Basset looking. They have no wards. They have no idea that she's there. She's jumping in, looking for the Haichiman. Haichiman forced the beads, forced the shell out of them as well, and then nothing should come of it. Unless
it's a really good gank because you get the relics out of both the dual lane people over here, as well as just putting them super low to give your dual lane the advantage in lane. I'm surprised they are going for this purple buff, knowing that it's on the same timer as theirs.
Maybe the best that just wanted to go back and farm, get that T2 mace. I don't really understand. I kind of disagree with it. I'm kind of on board with you on that. I don't understand why they didn't just invade. Maybe they weren't sure about timers. Maybe they were thinking, oh, maybe it's not up yet and we don't want to waste time just standing here. Maybe that's why they were thinking that, but I think definitely invading was the right call.
Yeah, I think that was a good invade angle, especially since your back camps could have been done by the time you got back over here. So.
Exactly. Oh, so Wukong is getting low over there. They're still staying here in dual lane instead of backing. I don't agree with that. I think it's better just to take the loss. I mean, yeah, you don't want the minion wave to go into tower. You want to get as much gold and much XP as you can.
Right.
But I think probably better just to back there. As the Basset comes in clutch, invading this blue here.
Really low.
Baba Yaga low. Basset ulting, whiffing the ult. Baba ulting in response. Morgan Faye is low. She might lose her life here. Barely getting out by the skin. That is wild.
I think there was a lot of misplays right there. Morgan Le Fay ulted early, and the Baba Yaga had already got into her Danish, so she was going to be out of range for the Morgan Le Fay ult. And then the Bastet just YOLOing the ult out there. I mean, you got to get a couple YOLOs, but Not a great start for the best at this game.
Yeah, that kind of felt like that was forced. That old, like she felt like she had to do something because of how low the Baba was. Sometimes it's better just to get that pressure and
Right.
do that, or maybe she
Meanwhile,
was just
Achilles
getting the
getting
forced
ganked
ult.
and insta-killed by this Willix Wukong combo.
Yeah, really can't be stepping up there, especially because if you look on the map, they have no wards, and Achilles does not kill Wukong. And neither does this Basset, so that's probably why Basset has been staying away from Willix or away from solo lane, because pre level 5 you can kill Wukong. After level 5, he's just basically unkillable and it's a waste of time to try and kill him. On the other hand, with these Willix, it's a little bit more easy to achieve this killing this Achilles here. Let's hold that thought. They were fighting over these mid camps over here. Yemoja ulting the Charon ulting in response. 3-man ult. He might get out barely. Oh, and that's such a waste.
Does get killed by the Morgan Le Fay ult, but
That is
I think
such
it was
an
really-
unfortunate
I think that
engage
pushes
there.
more towards the favor of the KC Banished right here, though.
Oh, definitely. They used like 3 ults for that one Charon, and he just used his ult in Shell in response, and he lived. So I don't know if they were just fighting just to fight, or were they fighting over those mid camps. What do you feel like the thought process was going into that engagement?
I think that was a reaction ult off the Yemoja to try and trap the Charon, but I don't think there was enough damage put into it, and they probably also didn't keep good track of the shell timer. So I don't think that Charon was ever going to die in that situation.
No.
Meanwhile, we got a fight going on.
Willix. Ooh. Great invade there. I don't understand like what Yemoja's like thought process was going into that. I know she was trying to contest and try to take the purple. So that Willix can just take the purple buff, but she knew none of her teammates were there. She didn't know where any of the other people were at. So maybe it's just better just to throw an ability and then leave instead of still trying to stay there while Willix has ultimate. Willix has a naturally low cooldown ultimate, right? So you want to always come up with the assumption, unless you just seen her use it like 2 seconds ago, that it's always up, especially with the Yemoja. As we see an engagement here, Hachiman getting a little low, should be fine. Just gonna pop the health pods and take back up to full health. Looking to poke here.
It does have beads. I'm surprised we didn't see the Ishtar ultimate come out to try and force those beads off him, so your Bastet has an easier gank later on.
Yeah, that sometimes is a little hesitant sometimes, because again, I mean, if you look on the left hand side, they don't have any wards right now. Oh, let's hold that thought. They are looking to catch this Hachiman out. Forced the beads. Basset ulting in response. Not held it a little, or used it a little too early. If she waited just a half a second later, she killed him.
I'm surprised they're not going for the tower dive here. I think that would have been, especially with Yemoja backing you up.
Yeah,
It looks like Yemoja's going to be going over trying to find this secure on Baba Yaga, but the walls are just off on this end. And because of that, now a Willix goes ahead and just snags a badger from Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah, seemed like a very scattered fight for red team. Like they didn't really know what they were doing there. Yemoja just going behind the T1 tower between the T1 and T2, ulting the Baba Yaga when nobody else was there to follow up. I don't know. It was probably better just for her to go back and help peel and try to keep Badger on this Morgan Le Fay alive. I think that it was just kind of. I think it was kind of a miscommunication there, as blue team is looking to push their lead even more. They were just up to 3,000 XP and 21, almost 2,200 gold. What do you feel like they should be doing? What do you think is their next step here?
I think we're waiting for that magical 10.5 minute mark for the Gold Fury and Obelisk sweep. An obelisk, whatever.
The beacon. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gone through several names.
Yeah, whatever. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Right.
Moja looking for an opportunity for this Hachiman, not successful in this. Bassett around the corner looking to maybe steal this purple buff away, contest it. It is a 3v2. They're probably just going to take it safe and bring both those into... Oh, as Bassett's throwing the ult out, hits the
nice ult
Hachiman ult.
Bassett.
Karen ulting in response should be okay if they just keep turning around and going back into tower.
I think we have overstayed our welcome now because we have 4 members of the KC Banished about to surround us. Or surround the free agent team.
As they're looking to just run this Ishtar down, Ishtar does fall. They're looking for the Umoja next. Umoja has no Omi. Oh, Umoja questionably ulting there. They're probably going to look for the Gold Fury here.
And I think this is going to be a free Gold Fury. I don't think I would want to step up and contest this free agency. We're trying to be looking into make sure we secure our speed buff on the right side. Maybe rotate over towards solo. Achilles even coming over here is a bit questionable because now he has to teleport back to his lane.
Yeah, maybe they were thinking they were going to contest it, and there wasn't like the communication seemed to be off there to make Achilles rotate and forced to waste the teleport there. I think it was better just to somebody on that team just be just go back to farm, just keep farming, try to get a lead over this Wukong. But as that fight over in left was going on, I did see the Willix pick up the kill on over on Badger. I don't exactly know what happened there. I don't know if he was caught out of position, or if he was got caught lazy backing, or whatever the case is. But they definitely need to ward up a little bit more because blue team is definitely outwarding them here.
Yeah, that was Achilles that ended up dying. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We have a 5-0 Willix that's 5 levels up on our jungler, or the free agent's jungler. So
Yeah, that is.
It's kind of a get your mental straight, go next kind of game. If I had to imagine,
it's a little bit tricky there because Morgan Le Fay definitely shines in this late game. She's kind of just a throw abilities out. As hold that thought, Willix coming up behind to look for this. Morgan Le Fay forced to ult. Baba ulting in response in the Umoja and the Charon. Charon picking up the kill with the Charon ult, and then blue team's going to look to secure this beacon and maybe potentially this T1 in mid.
Right.
I think
this is a really big draft gap from the Banished this game.
I agree. I agree, and there's also the lack of wards. The solo kill over
in
and
might have actually just been a solo kill. It looks like the Willix didn't even get involved in that one.
Yeah, it looks like a Willix
on
was
that side,
on her way, but did not get there in time. Hachiman coming up with the clutch 1v1 at that such a low HP, and that has to be frustrating for this Ishtar. So what do you think, outside of, GG go next for game 2, what do you feel like needs to be, what do you think is the solution for this red team to get back into this game?
Well, the red team needs to stop the bleeding at some point in time. Maybe it's a contest over this Pyromancer. Maybe it's a YOLO Gold Fury. Or not Gold Fury, but a Fire Giant call when Gold Fury spawns. But they definitely need to get something off the map to get a little bit of gold and XP going back in their favor. Because I don't think they've gotten a single about 4 minutes into the game either.
Yeah, this Willix is kind of just running all over the map. So earlier, about like half a minute ago, they took the red buff, went over there. The 2 or 3 people went over to that red buff, to the Morgan Le Fay's red buff, and it just seems like I don't really know if they're. I said this multiple times, but I think communication is a big thing. Like, for instance, with that Achilles going over there and having to waste the teleport for that Gold Fairy fight that was already over. The lack of wards over there. It's all like what, 3 wards on the map right now versus the blue team's like 5 or 6. So they definitely need to ward up a little bit more aggressively and more defensively so they could be on time for those buffs. I think that needs to be the next play for these guys, is just to put your head down, keep farming, keep wards on these objectives, and then once these objectives, this blue team, red team just needs to contest it, and try their best to contest it, but don't full commit, because they're already super far behind. Maybe you can have one person who isn't worth any gold look to steal these objectives or get them off objectives or whatever.
Right.
But I definitely think that's probably, because I mean, I'm an F7 warrior. I don't like surrendering games.
No, I don't think
At
this is
least
a
anymore.
surrender moment. I think you always should, if you're in a tournament setting or even like an official game setting, you should always try and play out your games. But man, is this a hey guys, we need to think about what we're doing next game
Yeah,
kind of moment
maybe.
here?
Yeah, maybe take this entire time before. Oh, let's hold that thought,
Oh
Karen.
my goodness.
Ulting. Oh my god! As a Willix blows up this Morgan Le Fay, and they took zero damage that entire engagement there with the Morgan Le Fay.
Actually, the tower did more damage than any other spear did right there.
Yeah, that has to be rough. You never. Oh, as Willix is just gonna solo blow this Yemoja up. Yemoja trying to contest that Pyromancer. I don't think was the play. I think it's better just to, hey, let's just take the L. Let's go find farm somewhere. Let's push these waves up. And
One thing I don't see that
he
often.
gets the solo kill. Didn't see too much of it, but I mean, there's not really much to talk about. He soloed him. He's 3-0. Ishtar's 0-3. Seems like every role is struggling.
Right. It's a struggle fest around the entire map. As he 12-0, this is kind of a blowout game right now.
I agree. So what were you
But
saying
I am
before I
blue
interrupted
team.
you?
One thing I really love to do, because I am a support main, is as soon as you drop that first Pyromancer, just go straight to the T1 tower in mid and push a wave under tower and get that bomb down to get that tower off the map as soon as possible. Because it is the safest tower in the game.
Yeah, and it opens up a lot for the blue team to do even more than they're already doing with the massive lead they have.
Right.
They have like a 8,000 gold lead right now, and it's really just their game to lose at this point.
And this is the Bastet is 100% going to fall here. Does end up going down to the Karen, so Yemoja ult is good enough to try and help save this Morgan Le Fay, who ends up running out towards this tower line. He's gonna fall to this Willix, and that's utmost about it.
He almost took down the Willix though. Even if she died there and she killed the Willix, that's a lot of shutdown gold in XP. So
If I'm the Willix, I might be thinking about trying to get behind and get into a tower and just get that bounty reset on my head.
yeah, there might
Or
not be.
Pyromancer, or not Pyromancer, Tribal Fury will go to the KC Banished here.
Yeah, red team not looking to contest this. They just wanted to get that beacon. Fortunately, Willix did not get there in time to contest that beacon. But they were thinking, oh, they're starting to make the wiser decisions. So let's just not contest this. We don't want to die for this. We're already super far behind. And this gold lead, XP lead's getting out of hand. Almost over
10K.
9,000, almost 10K before the 20-minute mark. They still have 2 minutes. They could still get a 2K gold lead if they take these towers. And it's just probably what blue team's going to be looking to do. 12,000 experience lead. It's rough. 2-level lead at ADC, 3-level in support.
This
5
Hachiman just
level
had
lead
enough
in
gold
jungle.
to basically buy 2 items on back.
That's absolutely wild. See,
Got the
I
dominance and the launched blade.
don't know. Maybe Ishtar is like. I don't think Ishtar is the issue per se. I do think, like you were saying earlier, I think the KC Banished just outdrafted this KC free agent team. As Willix is just going to solo kill the Ishtar, force Ishtar to ult, but Hachiman did ult unnecessarily. I think he was just doing it just for that extra damage, maybe, and just in case a Willix died. But either way, him ulting there probably doesn't matter because he has not died yet. He has not been under any pressure outside of, like, for the past 5-7 minutes or so. At the beginning he was pressured, but then after that they just left him alone. which I don't
Right.
think we can play.
So the other part of the thing is the free agents comp is so much harder to play than the banished comp, right? I mean, you got Karen, push forward, make them go back into you, push 2, get big hits, health shields. Wukong is a very easy character to play. Baba Yaga, I mean, it's just big circles. I think the hardest character is a Willix, and I really don't think a Willix is that hard of a character to play, in my opinion.
No, this is super basic team. The hardest I would probably even argue is Baba Yaga. Like just because of her like the little pathing it takes, like the circles, pluses,
Right.
whatever, Ys, whatever you want to call it, math mage. I think that's probably the hardest one, but again, they're relatively super simple characters, nothing too much of it. And I want to talk about here on this Wukong with the beat stick, and then that looks to be like a Heartseeker. You feel like that is he can get away with that just because of how far his team is ahead, or do you think he needs to go a little bit more defensive so he has that survivability even more than he already does?
Right, and I think Wukong is a interesting character because he always wants to build. You want to build damage on Wukong, at least one damage item, because he just has such good scaling and makes very good use of power.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have Somersault Cloud just to get out of danger in case something does end up popping up. So he's a very safe, very high damage character. And then his team being ahead just makes it so he doesn't have to be as tanky, especially since Baba Yaga's got the evolved Froth Globe. The Karen's got 2 ore items going on for his team. So
And I do want to talk about the XP or the level lead with these 2 junglers. It's up plus 4 levels, has been 5 the entire time. Obviously, Hankope has 20, so that's why it's 4 now. And I do see that the best that went Bobble. Okay, so I see a
Right.
lot of junglers and a lot of tanks, and sometimes even mages. Even though I think on mages, I don't really kind of indifferent on that, but see them a lot of go with the Bobble. And what do you feel like the value she's going to get out of going Bobble? What do you think is the rest of her build path, and why do you feel like she went Bobble in that item slot third?
So I think it's going to be, as we watch her, the Bastet just whip another ultimate. But
Oh,
I think
actually,
that one
that
might have
thought Charon
Quite
ultimate
quick now.
response, Wukong just barely getting out with his life. Maybe he needed that defense. Baba ulting in response. Basset's probably going to fall here. Achilles missing his execute. That is so unfortunate. They're still blue team's still relatively healthy versus the red team. You still have two. Their tanks are low, so I do not think they will push this any farther. Oh, and Willix might fall here. This is very. Oh, looks like Morgan Le Fay might be looking for this kill because that's a
She's going
huge
to end up
pick. She's just gonna kill her.
getting to reset to
He's
the
just-
Phoenix, so nobody's going to get that nice, juicy 8-0 bounty that was on her head.
That's really unfortunate. Maybe Morgan Le Fay didn't even get the assist, dude. That's so unfortunate.
Oh, unfortunate.
All right,
Oh,
so
no.
before that fight happened, I was asking you about the bobble and like why do
Right.
you think? What do you feel like the value this Basset is going to get out of bobble here?
So the last 2 items, well, it looks like it's going to be Crusher and then probably a Heartseeker. But you really don't get any value out of this bauble until you finish your starter item. So I think it's just built a little prematurely because it's got decent stats on it, but it's not the best stats. 40 power, 20 MP5, 10% CDR.
And you can get 50% cooldown, but I don't think she has a lot of cooldown to begin with. She has the Jotuns, and then she'll have it
Right.
for her starter, right?
Right now she only has 40, so I've been seeing it built 6th item usually, but
Yeah,
get it third or fourth, whatever you want to consider.
maybe
that
she's
one.
expecting she's expecting to hit level 20 earlier or try it. She wants to try to farm for this level 20, but it doesn't seem like she's doing that all that well. She's trying to kill this Wukong over in right lane. Wukong does have ult. That's that ulting response. Wukong would just get out with his life, and another minute or two, and he'll have it back up. And didn't really hurt anything. That's kind of just a whole lot of nothing happening there. As Charon is ulting in response to this Yemoja ult. Charon's stuck in the Yemoja ult. Just kind of a waste of Yemoja ult. Nothing happened there. I'm pretty sure he healed from that. As Wukong, as blue team's just running all over the place. It seems like they're playing arena right now.
Right. Well, they're trying to step up for a fight, and there's just not a good angle for a fight here. Luckily, they didn't get caught off guard by this Willix, but Willix is also in a really bad spot here overall. Does have the one to try and get out. Short lead by the best that is going to end up leading to the first kill for the free agents. 25.5 minutes of the game. Now the Wukong's diving in the middle of everybody. It's going to get executed by the Achilles. And the Achilles is just going to use that execute, as most Achilles do, as a CC immune dash.
That was a huge leap in XP and gold for this Willix. I mean, yes, she died to the Phoenix earlier, but it was still pretty good. Give me 1 second, guys.
Right. And then, so now we're just going to go for this reset. I think the free agent team really does need to start looking more towards farm, get these level 20s online, get these starter items finished. And I could see blue team, the Banished, starting to move towards maybe going towards Fire Giant, but they might be resetting to go back towards Gold Tier. Not 100% sure here. Hachiman just getting a bunch of more farm done up in the solo lane. Let's see what happens over there. I would like to see what this Ishtar ends up going. It's going to be Diamond Arrow or Gilded Arrow. The other one. Ornate Arrow. But overall, just kind of a quiet little couple minutes in. Barn burner of a 62.
Sorry about that, guys.
You're all good.
One of my roommates was calling me. Alright, so it looks like KC Vanish is probably just going to get this Fire Giant. I definitely think the KC free agent team should contest this. That's that ulting, looking for a pit there. Off the mark, nothing found there. So what do you feel like? You think KC, the free agent team, should look to contest this Fire Giant? What do you think they need to be doing here?
I think I would like to see the free agent team work more towards getting these level 20s online over contesting a 26-minute Fire Giant. It's not GFG just yet. I think maybe you could have Achilles and Yemoja over here just to see if they can't go for a steal, but nothing too crazy. I wouldn't commit too hard like this Achilles currently is. He gets chased down by the fat Karen. Karen does come out. Is going to hit 2. But it doesn't look like there's going to be much follow-up for it, as the rest of the team is slightly trailing behind.
Yeah, it looks like nothing really came out there. Hachi ulting in response forces the Ishtar Aegis. And that looks like Ishtar might fall here. Yemoja trying to ult to zone off the other team. Baba Yaga does pick up the kill. Wukong in the air. Getting out, healing up, getting his life. Chooses to go back in. Taking a lot of poke that he might fall here. He's in execute range. Oh, Achilles off the mark. Chooses the ult into these Willix here. Willix is 1v4ing here. I don't know why she felt like she needed to leap in there. I know she was trying to zone for Fire Giant, but I definitely don't think her going in there trying to kill people or do anything helped her team at all. If anything, that made it easier for them to siege into this, as KC Banish is looking for this Fire Giant. Maybe look and see if KC free agent team can potentially pick this up. Morgan Le Fay forced to beat Aegis. Gets out in time. Tiger Stun off the mark. Bastet ult with the ult, hitting the Hachiman. Hachiman forced the Aegis, forced the beads, might be out. Dash there. Iza will probably fall here on this Achilles. And it just looks like they're so close to picking up these carries, and it just turns out and not in their favor. Bastet will fall here. Yemoja probably next. Probably next to fall here. They are low, so they can't really push tower. What I would be doing is I would either get this beacon or gold for or I'd just go back and go straight to fire.
Right.
Morgan Le Fay looking to kill this Hachiman.
Morgan Le Fay.
Badger might potentially pick him up. Oh, he will get out with his life, and Baba with the amazing peel to pick up the kill on this Morgan Le Fay. And it just seems like a whole lot of fighting's going on, and this red team's fighting when they shouldn't be, especially with 2 of their teammates down. and they just got
And with the
decided, so they're probably just going to go straight to fire when they're back.
Right. Quick back, go straight to Fire Giant. Who's going to contest you? The Achilles? Well, you guys kind of get to one-shot the Achilles.
You
he
just
doesn't
kill
have
them.
that prop
That's
for
not going to
this.
get there in time if they start this. They should just go straight to Big Fire. They should not do Pyromancer.
Go straight to Big Fire. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Win the game, please.
Yes, make it just
Uh,
clean it up. Get into the next game. Clean this Fire Giant up.
I think this is a
left
bad
here.
move from the Achilles coming up to even attempt to contest this.
I agree. You can clearly see the Basset's not his teammate mount. This Basset is not
Right.
looking to contest this. You can probably just throw his one out there and then leave. It's not likely he's gonna. Yeah, it's not likely he's gonna steal his Fire Giant away. He's forced to ult. Karen ult will almost hit. Wukong
It does
ulting
hit the Basset.
this.
Eventually gets this Achilles. There it is.
You're probably
Now you're-
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Now it's down to a 4v5 on defense against a team with enhanced Fire Giant. Not gonna be a great time.
So they just easily they need to bomb there. They just took it instantly. As Ishtar
Right.
ulting, Yamoja ulting, and Yamoja
Wukong, though, taking a
Here?
lot of damage from this 1v1 against the Bastet.
looks like they're just trying to look for picks and end here. Oh, they're not getting any picks. Baba forced to Aegis.
Ooh, the blink. The blink somersault. Whatever the Willix do. Just
Willix
takes out
Crash, AFK'd.
Oh
It looks
no!
like
That's,
she might have
that's-
crashed. That's really scummy of this other team. Maybe they didn't know. I'll give them a bit of a doubt. I won't jump to conclusions.
Right.
But it looked like Elraz on this. The Willix did
Ooh, that was a
DC
very.
there. It looks like they're getting
Yeah,
they're on the
that's-
revenge tour for their
big
home to Willix.
damage.
Oh,
Oh, and the fatal strike is off the mark. The Willix has DC'd, but the blue team, the Banish team is like, we could just win this game. I'm pretty sure they are not stopping. But,
as
Hachiman
I don't know.
getting
I think
picked,
them
it's not
leaving.
great.
I think they should have left earlier. That was kind of something.
Right.
But it does look like
Uh,
Willix is potentially back. It doesn't say the DC
Right.
anymore, but she is not moving. Smite game is unfortunate. Oh, I'm looking at. I see that, but like at the same time, in the top right corner on the mini map, she's over there. So I got thrown off for a second. Sorry, it does look like she is actually back.
So I haven't
Probably-
been in the Smite game for a minute, but I have been seeing a lot more. I thought, what is it called? Gemma Focus was the correct starter to go through,
It's
especially
really,
for an ability spammer.
yeah. I think for I think it probably is. I think there's very few instances you go the standard time and the alternate timeline and whatnot. I definitely think maybe it is more gonna. LeFay wanted the extra cooldown because she doesn't seem like she has too much right now, just the breastplate. But that's just 10%, so I don't really know if it's really worth it.
Right.
So she just has that 30%, and I think it's better just to go the conduit gem into that. I do not understand exactly why. I guess Baba just wanted the 20% cooldown because I don't think she has anything else really much. But I definitely conduit gem and is gem of focus is definitely the way to go. She has what
It looks like we're going to
30%.
be able to see our first 5v5 under the Phoenix here, as the Carnal does end up crashing through. 2. And the Sun Wukong is going to end up getting that alternate timeline proc off the Morgan Le Fay, who's taking a lot of damage from that Baba Yaga ult, just slightly too little to finish her off. Ishtar does end up picking up the Willix. The Sun Wukong is really low. Phantom Shell comes out, does end up saving the Sun Wukong's life. A lot of fighting going on right here in this little corner. I think we're just waiting for our ability timers to come back up to finish off this Hachiman. Pretty reckless fight coming out from the Banished here.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if they really knew what they. Obviously, they want to get Phoenix, right? But They 2-for-2 trade. They don't have Fire Giant anymore. I think that's in the favor of KC Banish in a way, but they also got Phoenix, and there's
Right.
tons of Fire Waves, so they probably could still end even without Hachiman or Willix. That's probably what I would do. Yeah, it looks like they will look to end here potentially. I don't know, actually. Hold that thought. 2 players are super low. Looks like Baba is just going to try to go for the end here. Maybe pick up this kill.
And I think she's gonna just get it with the Baba Yaga ult.
That was a panic end for sure by
Yeah.
KC Banished. Overall, though, outside of that last siege and that little Titan dance there, I think overall KC Banished played a very clean game. I don't think there is anything they need to change going into this. They can probably just they could potentially just run back the same exact comp and be fine. Obviously, depending on what red team is going to do, switch it up. So speaking of that, what do you feel like they could do differently here for red team?
I think I would like to see the Umoja gone. I don't think it was that impactful as Umoja really needs to be. The Morgan Le Fay had spots here and there, but it looked like they just weren't communicating very well. They weren't prioritizing targets. People were hitting. Morgan Le Fay at one point in time was on a Willix, while the rest of the team is trying to 4v4. And it's just it was a messy backline from them. But it looked like they kind of got the Banished team did end up getting a little overzealous, playing with their food a little bit towards the end of that game, but does end up going out. KC Banished are going up 1-0 against the free agent squad, and I think I'm going to throw it back over to Loshak on the desk.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what an Awilix game. While we were kind of watching that, truly, I don't think the game got out of hand in any of these other lanes besides whenever the Awilix was there. I mean, we did see some Hachi solo kills, but by that point, the Awilix had already been over there a few times, already picked up the Emoja a couple times. So I think once you get rid of this Awilix, it's going to be a much better scenario than if you hadn't.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Awilish was a good pick for the KC Banish team. It definitely worked out in their favor, especially with what they were playing against. But I think the biggest thing that we got to look at for the team fight phase, especially, we got to look at this Baba Yaga. This Baba Yaga was making huge plays with those ultimates, and she basically felt ungankable to me. Just as soon as she got dived on, it was immediate damage, followed up by a huge CC ultimate as well as zoning. And it was a huge counter pick against the Umoja. Umoja sets up that ultimate, the Baba Yaga would just ult immediately to counter it. Like it every time without fail.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like I said on the desk prior, I really did not like the Umoja at all. However, I mean, I get the idea of it. A lot of them couldn't get out. But whenever they're in there, they're just fighting you in it. They didn't care.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit rough for the free agent team. I mean, I think the biggest issue with the drafts was just that the KC Banish team had kill secures, whereas the free agent team did not. There were multiple times where there were members of the KC Banish team where they were low and they would get away because there's pretty much no kill secures for the for the free agent team. I mean, Achilles, you could sort of consider him a kill secure, but he's not really made for that. It's more so poking people down.
Right.
It was just a lack of kill secures for me that really ruined it.
Yeah. I mean, we had the Achilles, but we saw it time and time and time again. What was it, like 4 or 5 whiffed ultimates? You cannot be doing that on the Achilles, especially whenever there's lockdown involved. Definitely not a good look there for Iza, unfortunately. However, I mean, like I stated before, after this Awilix is gone, everything else is okay. You got to put him on something he's uncomfortable. Granted, we saw them. They banned the Susano. They banned the Thor. I mean, they're having to focus out Raz so hard. Honestly, they're gonna have to triple ban him. That's my opinion. That's just gonna have to be like that.
No, I fully agree with you. Honestly, with that, that Wheelish definitely was doing very, very well during the early game. It was just I just wanted to point out the fact that Baba Yaga was doing so much damage in that late game. And especially like that Wukong pick too. It did like much better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, no, definitely did. I was kind of talking a little smack about it, but but once again, we didn't see the Achilles or the Wukong really until like 20 some minutes, and by that time, Awilix had already done the damage.
yeah, that
So,
is true.
so
Uh,
it was a good game either way for sure.
It was definitely a good game. I mean, even though the free agent team, it looked like it was decently one-sided, I noticed like, they kept trying to like patch up that gold lead during the early
Yeah.
game. It didn't really spiral out of control. It was sort of like staying around 2000 until around like that 11.5 minute mark.
Hmm.
That was when it started going downhill. 11-minute gold fury followed by, basically a deicide. I think it was just one kill off from a deicide
Yeah.
and then being able to take Pyromancer as well. I mean, it definitely just helped out Casey Banished. Just the earlier rotation coming from the Wukong than the Achilles
Right.
is definitely what did it there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was kind of the situation of we're already behind, and we want to play into it, but we cannot play into it.
Yeah, I think the emoji definitely. I saw a little bit of a bad habit of her stepping up too far, especially
Yep.
when they're as far behind as they are. The Wukong was able to get away with building 2 damage items rather than just one because of it as well,
Yeah.
because she wasn't able to get proper farm to be a tank.
Hmm.
All he had to do was build an extra damage item, and he was shredding those tanks as fast as his backliners were.
Yeah, which is nuts. That's nuts to even think about. That a Wukong of all things is one of your higher damage dealers, and not just the fake damage of a soul inner. I know I got it, So it is something that's like I'm trying to figure out how I can articulate this to say that they are able to stop it, but with Raz doing what Raz did, I don't think half the team had to play. Really, Raz put the team on their back, put them in the backpack, and said, "Come on, boys, let's go to the end game." Now, don't get me wrong. Wukong's got 43K, Baba's 34, Hachi 29. While while Wheelix only has 19. He did what he had to do in that early game to get the rest of his team to the point where it didn't matter what he was doing. Like we saw him die 4 times where it was like, "What are you doing, guy?" Or 3 times where I was like, "What are you doing, guy?" But at that point, he was a distraction either for a Charon, for a Wukong, for Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga all hit like 3, 4 people repeatedly because he was already that big of a threat.
Yeah, it was definitely causing issues for the FA team. I mean, they couldn't stop the Awilish early because the Umoja just couldn't play well into
Hmm.
Awilish. It's one thing that I like to say. Smite is a big game of rock, paper, scissors when it comes to counterpicking. And unfortunately, when your support's not able to counterpick against the jungler, which I think is the biggest counterpick against a jungler,
Yep.
it's going to be a bit rough for you. So, not having any support pressure against the jungler was definitely an issue for them in that early game.
Hmm.
Um, it's just not a lot they can do with that Yamoja pick in that early game against Nawilish. I definitely think they could have gone better in the mid game area if she hadn't, caused herself to die twice due to stepping up too far. But it's happened the way it did. We saw what happens. You pick an
Yep.
Awilish into a support that you counterpick, and it goes well.
Yeah, which is crazy because what Awilix was top 3. That it typically when we're talking about counter picks, it's more towards that bottom 2 slot. But was she 2 or was she 3? It doesn't matter either way. She was on that upper portion of that picks and bans. My thought process is that's what they're going to continually do with the with Raz's pick because obviously he is highly valued.
Yeah, he definitely was like probably the second most valuable player on that entire team throughout the match. I mean, that Awilish was going crazy, and I mean, having that Yamoja locked up number 3. Normally, you pick up Yamoja and you think to essentially ban out the things that are going to counterpick your Yamoja pick, but
Right.
Awilish, I personally I don't even think of Awilish when it comes to Yamoja. I think of Baba Yaga and like Odin, stuff like that. Stuff that's going to keep you from being able to do what you want with that Yamoja ult. So I don't even blame them for not banning the Awilish.
Mhm.
It's definitely something that should have come up, but I mean, it just kind of slipped through, and I mean, it caused major damage at that early game. Definitely got all of his lanes elite. I think the other really big thing that Banished had over the FA team was warding. I mean, looking at their wards right here, you have 16 wards on the Charon, 14 on the Emoja. You have 2 double digits on the FA team, and you have 3 double digits on the Banished team. And I mean, the solo laner for the FA team with 4 wards, that's like he definitely needs to step up the ward game.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to justify 4 wards. It's tough to justify 7 wards, especially out of these 2 roles. That as solo, you're getting ganked quite often. So why do you only have 4 wards? Granted, they didn't get to really set up around fire giant, so you're not going to get those not free fire giant wards, but where you're not going to get those wards where you're centering back and forth, ward fighting with people. You're not going to get that. With that being said, though, you should still have a lot more than what they have.
Yeah, I definitely like. I think even if he, bought like a proxim ward for trying to like peel himself against an Awilish, because proxim wards are kind of an Awilish's worst nightmare when it comes to ganking. Awilish does not like being slowed. So when you're hitting her with proxim wards or anything like that, especially when you're playing somebody like Achilles, it provides you that extra safety that you need. Because Achilles doesn't really have much safety outside of his ultimate compared to other solo laners. Very easy to gank compared to others. So not warding as much as he did, it definitely causes an issue. And I just noticed he actually doesn't even have his prophetic stacked.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that one's a tough one. Yeah, I don't really like his heart ward choice either.
Me neither.
But we are getting here into game number 2. What do you really want to see before we get into this?
I want to see a more aggressive type solo or support pick for the FA team. I want to see them pick somebody who's going to be able to mess with Elraz. I think if they lock up something like a Sobek or something like a Ganesha where they're going to be, playing into Elraz with the support pick, it'll go a lot better than it, did the first game there. And I want to see a kill secure, at least one kill secure on their team.
Okay. I mean, that's a good idea, like a Thanatos and Ao Kwong, and Achilles. Unfortunately, that Ganesh will not happen this game. But I agree. I like the idea of like the Bacchuses, the Ganeshes, the somebody that can kind of get up in your face versus that super hard backline, the Caparis, the Emojas, stuff like that. But at the same time, Odin. So they let go of the Susano. Or not to say we, but the free agent team gets to pick up the Hachiman, which is a massive pickup.
It's kind of interesting. I think if I'm in their shoes, I would have left the Odin open for a pile pick, honestly.
So you value the Odin over the Hachi?
I actually would. Right now,
Okay.
Odin's doing really, really well, and what they were lacking on was kill secure. Odin makes up for both of those. That's a really high meta pick that has really great kill secure and huge team fight. And with his current, with his changes that they've given him, his 3 only having 2 pulses until he gets the stun, as well as having the extra damage output, and the bobble build being able to keep his shield on him, like he's tanky and he does damage. I don't know. I mean, I look at him as a pretty big. Oh, I thought that was for the. I thought that was for the other team.
Oh yeah, no. Whew. Yeah, that one would have been a pause moment there for sure. Interesting. I mean, obviously the Susano's not interesting. Obviously, I know Raz wants the Susano, but the Emoja. I mean, we saw it not go very well. I get that a lot of people do value the walls though, but I think there's much better, in my opinion, than
I fully
what
agree.
we're seeing right here.
I think the big thing is they're going to be going for a setup with the Susano ultimate and the Emoja ultimates. It's probably what they're going to be looking at. I don't much care for that Charon pick into the Susano. I think if you're trying to counter pick the Susano here, because that's what I would be doing, I would be picking Ares. They have an Ares up. Ares is by far like Susano's worst nemesis.
Yeah.
Especially with how that last game went, they needed a lot more aggression from their support compared to what they were able to have. Ares makes up for that big time. The Charon, I'm gonna be interested to see how that goes. It's definitely an interesting one in my opinion. I think the main reason for that is the ult against Yamoja's ult, but
I
we'll
mean,
have to.
we did just see it. I mean, anytime you Mojo throw up the walls, you're getting hit with the wave. I really don't like that they picked the King Arthur into the Charon, though. I mean, he has that silence. I mean, that's about it, though. But that silence is pretty big. And while you're getting hit, your their backliners are getting a shield if you're hit with that too. So that's not going to feel great. So
Yeah,
I'm very interested in that. I mean, we see this Thoth, Thana. Thana's a good band. That's something that we talked about. They already have one execute. They probably were going to look towards another one because they just were so close to finishing off some of these kills, but just were not able to finish those off.
yeah. It's what I want to see out of this blue team now, at least, is I want to see some kind of mid laner that's going to counterpick that Arthur a little bit, like have a little bit more survivability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, picking an Arthur early like that is very, very risky, especially with how easily countered he is,
Yep.
considering, Charon Silence is already there, Charon Ultimate's already there. Both of those are going to make Arthur's job extremely difficult.
Right.
If we end up seeing, like, a mid laner that can counterpick that Arthur, it just kind of seals the coffin on the solo laner.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Arthur and Susano both get countered by pretty much the exact same things. It's silences and cripples. So it's an
Ooh,
interesting draft
I like
decision.
the X ball though. I do like that X ball though, but I wish the X ball was the Hachi. I would rather see that. Truly, for the Charon ults, the Ravana makes sense. I mean, he's kind of that safe god that can still be play very aggressive. Um, I don't really know who you want to dive right now. X ball is very hard to dive as the Ravana. I actually would have rather see a Hunbats. Now I'm thinking about it. I would really like to see a Hunbats. We saw a Hunbats earlier on today, and it was very, very well.
See, I actually think that this one right here, I would be going to a little bit of an off meta pick to try and
Uh-huh.
counter pick the red team from the jungle. I would have went with something like a Suku pick, like Sukuyomi.
Oh, yeah,
It,
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
I think that would have played very well into this enemy composition because Sukuyomi plays very well into the Susanoo for countering
Yep.
knockups, plays well into the Arthur for
Oh,
countering his knockup and everything, being able to stun him out of his three. Hey,
no way.
and there's that mid lane pick I was talking about to counter the Arthur. There's that cripple.
Right, yeah, but there's got to be a troll. There's no way they're going to disrespect him that hard. But at the same time, it's not really that disrespectful with that Yamoja ult. If you get stuck with a Yamoja ult and an off-wash ult, you're going to die. You're just going to die. That's what it is, especially if he builds full power. Merlin, similar idea. Just safer.
Yeah, and Merlin's doing really well right now with the way builds are for mid lane. I mean,
Yeah.
being able to go Sands immediately into a Spirit Desolation makes him really, really well. I mean, I did that just earlier today in my set that I played, and the amount of damage I was dealing even when I was behind was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these two drafts here, who are you kind of favoring right now?
These drafts are a lot more even than the first game. I think I actually favor the FA team's draft this time around.
Yep.
Just because playing Arthur and Susano and Merlin into a Charon and a Poseidon, it's going to be rough. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to matter on whether this Yamoja can perform or not for her team. The Yamoja threes are what I think are going to end up, churning the entire game for Banished.
Yep.
It'll depend on if that X Ball can get online before, before the Ravana starts getting a little bit big.
Right. Well, now that we are heading into game number 2, I saw, we are gonna throw it over to the casters here.
All right. Well, good evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. We got some good old-fashioned Smite game here. It's a good time. Dash might be joining me, might be muted still. We'll see how that ends up going out for him.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to be
There
muted.
you go. Alright, you can now mute Loshak. Don't worry, we got you. As we have just about everything we would want here, I think, for the KC Banished, realistically. What are you thinking on these drafts? I know the casters were talking about how they liked the Poseidon pick. I personally am not the biggest fan, but maybe you can shed a little bit more insight on it as well.
Sorry, I'm thinking. Stall. Stall. Okay, I'm back. Okay. I don't know. I just really don't like Yamoja right now. Maybe it's just a me thing, but she just feels kind of meh compared to other supports in the game right now.
Yeah.
So between the Charon, I mean, Aphrodite's always up, and most people do not look towards that character, despite it being so good. I think Atlas is probably in a really good spot, especially if you're building these weird cooldown builds.
Yeah, Atlas with the bobble does go extremely hard.
Right.
Constantly having
Sobek
the,
hasn't been looked at.
Yeah, Sobek really hasn't been looked at all now that you mention it. I'm not really confused about it because at the end of the day, Sobek is Sobek. Sobek Brain will constantly be a thing. But I think something to really look at here for these two teams is how well they can play into their direct opponents, right? I am not very excited to see the Susano-Robin matchup this game.
No, it's generally favored the Susano, unless the Robin is just that much better mechanically, able to use that his overhead kick just a lot more efficiently than Susano is able to use his abilities. But this Arthur, though, I didn't realize Pittsburgh Adam was in the game.
You know, you would think it would have been Adam, but in reality, I think it's somehow worse than that. I think it might be a Cringe Lord in the game right now. It's unlucky, honestly. Keeping all these smalls up, though, rather interesting decision. Let's see if it pays off for him as JJ gets absolutely demolished coming to lane. That is rough, buddy. I note that Elbraz is getting a lot of solo farm early in this game. It is intriguing, to say the least.
Very curious what the decision was for the free agents team there on that wraparound at dueling.
You know, just having a good time. Oh, no, not you. Not you. There you are.
Especially with that Karen taking the majority of his health before he even got to lane.
As Elraz is getting a lot of damage thrown his way, unfortunately that does mean that their wave clear is more or less null. As we keep having a bit more of a struggle fest here, King Arthur, a notorious lane bully, and lane bully he shall, as he had last game. It is rough, for sure. Speaking of being
this
rough,
Achilles pick, it didn't look that great last game. A lot of missed ultimates, as they pointed out on the desk.
which we have Elraz trying to wrap around, being a sneaky snake. But no snakery involved. Instead, actually, it's duo lane that's getting a bit aggressive here. As we have weird things happening here, Dash. We have no rotations to duo lane.
Wait. King Arthur picked up Golden Shard.
Oh no! Alright, they're memeing on the free agent team now. That's not cool, guys. Come on.
Susano blinks in, gets the one, boom.
Oh, so very close, unfortunately. First and second blood. Double kill for this King Arthur. Unfortunate, really. For our boys.
Bluestone's a hell of a drug, man.
Bluestone is one hell of a drug. So are the minions. You know, the creeps. One absolute hell of a drug.
Remember Season 9 when they were like, we need to make the creeps tankier?
Remember Season 9 when they decided to make us tankier?
Right. Everybody got a little tank buff. Oh, and the Robin and the Poseidon have accidentally switched buffs. Unfortunate.
You know, honestly, I think that's not an accident. I think that's intentional.
Ah, right.
Yeah, you're just trying to make sure
I do
that...
love being a speedy Poseidon.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure that the cycling can be fast, you know.
They are not very good at going back and getting their buffs off cooldown.
They most definitely are not. Oh, Ryu actually ends up grabbing that itty bitty Naga camp. Very interesting that he had actually got the steal on it. Now about 1,000 gold in the lead is the KC Banish, and I expect this trajectory to continue unless the free agents can do something about it. What are you expecting the free agents to do?
Good flicker at mid lane from the Merlin to block it, not get hit by the Robin Blink 3 1 combo.
Oh, right on, right on. I missed it as I was talking.
Yeah,
So
I'm just watching solo lane as Achilles is just getting 100% bullied as he ends up eating the big fatty Arthur ult. Achilles is forced to ult away. Oof.
As now he's just diving the T1 tower. Unlucky.
That's a question all on its own right there.
As now Susanoo is over near Hachiman. Hachiman should be aware of the gank, if nothing else. Not due to him actually having vision, but due to him being a god-tier gamer.
I see this guy likes to play like you know? Don't
Yes.
back until you get your whole first item or you die.
Yes, correct. Although I've been getting better about it, alright? Don't at me that hard. As Susanoo ends up whiffing.
Oh my gosh.
Unlucky, honestly.
Right. Meanwhile, back at solo lane.
Back in
Same
solo
old, same
lane,
old.
Robin's over here.
Robin's over here for maybe contested gank. Not 100% sure on that one. We'll at least get a little bit of neutral farm.
As we keep trying to get some neutral farm, it's just unfortunate that it might not be happening that way. It looks like Poseidon actually is maxing his 1.
Oh.
He is. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I have a bad feeling about this one. Robin ult whiffed.
Robin ult whiffed hard.
Speaking of ults not whiffing, hey Susanoo, how's it going, buddy? Speaking of hey, how's it going, buddy? You need to ult that Arthur, not that guy. Oh no. It's turning up Millhouse for our boys on the free agent side. Yikes. Right. Stop coming over to solo.
Once again, that target priority is just not there for these.
Yeah, I think at this point they just don't talk. It's unlucky.
Right. Maybe they're a little more quiet after that game one. Let's blow out that.
Yeah, you know, and that's fair. It happens to everyone. You know, when a game like that ends up going down. What are some strategies we tend to use whenever we have those games, Dash? What were some strategies to get back in it? Is it about gyms?
Kind of just trying to get a mental reset between games. They had a nice 10-minute break in between the games, so we shouldn't be doing that out of context with each other, but just one person being able to talk and consistently talk about something, anything. Generally a good way to get your mental back in the game, but
also talking shit to each other.
Right.
If you know each other.
We love trash talk. Not a lot of action happening on the map, so.
No, really not, except for JJ being. Oh no, never mind. What's going on?
What's best jelly bean flavor? You know.
Best jelly bean flavor. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not the biggest jelly bean guy. A good overhead kick will mean that Robin won't end up taking that Susanoo ult, but he will end up ulting directly into the emoji ult. Weird.
Right.
But if we're talking best jelly bean flavor, as sorry, we go to one of the side laners real quick. I gotta say, honestly, I'm a cherry guy.
Oh, cherry, huh?
Yeah, I'm a cherry guy, and like oh god, it was like a while ago. As East almost ends up getting mollywopped by the King Arthur. again, as King Arthur's do. Now Susanoo is actually here. Susanoo Blink will end up costing Issa their life. Unlucky.
Stop.
Truly unlucky.
Push blink, mash keyboard, win game is
It looks like there may or may not be a little thing called miracles happening here. And by that, I mean the kings.
I'm just curious that this free agent team is just kind of making the same mistakes over and over again. A little bit of, that insanity.
Yeah, a little bit of insanity, a little bit of making the same mistakes over and over again. At this point, I feel like it's the same mistakes that we know from some of these players. The same consistent mistakes. Like Issa stepping up into King Arthur, or picking Achilles. Or, for me, I've been helping coach the dudes for a long time. And Ryu always has the thing where he needs to make a hero play. And we saw that a lot last game. Where he just felt like he needed to be the guy.
I'd like to see this Robin come over and try and help this Hachiman out.
Yeah, he is. He does have a
the,
lead. He has a half-level lead in this duo lane. I would love to see him have a larger lead, go for some buff invades, look for something with this Robin. But instead, Robin is just looking to secure their own farm, stay in their own lane, and chillax.
Right. Now Emojo's coming over to the duo lane.
Yeah, Emojo's trying to make sure that Hachiman doesn't get the shield buff pressure. Speaking of not getting something, hey, how's it going, buddy? Sadolf whiffs pretty much everything.
Pretty big whiffs. Doesn't really get anything
Huge
out of that.
whiffs. Speaking of huge whiffs, we might have a huge whiff for the Susanoo here.
Right.
As they're
they'll
looking,
go for,
they're hunting, they're sniffing around. Robin has decided to try to take the 3-level up.
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see.
I didn't see that. Okay.
I think it's time to reset. That was
Yeah, I think honestly it might be time to go next tournament, boys. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think Xenos might be a little
uncomfortable. I think in this one for sure.
He's definitely making some very questionable plays as he falls down 3 levels again to the Raz in the jungle.
Oh, there it is.
Not a great look.
Issa almost gets soloed again, but lives against the King Arthur. But we do have a half-level lead in mid and in duo, which is fun. Speaking of mid, we have an interesting build going on here.
Sorry, I had to go for a second there. Did I miss anything cool?
No, just the interesting mid build.
Oh. Spear of Desolation into Terran's Coin.
With Sands.
With Sands of Time over the Conduit Gym. We called that one out, last game, where they both ended up going Sands of Time over Conduit Gym. And I don't know if that's the play exactly there. Especially after those big buffs that came out of Conduit Gym.
Yeah, so Conduit Gym is being picked up by the Merlin. But notably, he's not getting the pressure that you'd expect from the Conduit Gym. And instead now it's a combination of Hell, if you will. The Beacon spawn. Speaking of Hell, hey JJ, how's it going? Nope, just kidding. Susana. Oh, okay, there's King Arthur here. Alright, awesome. I thought we just threw the one off to do nothing. I won't be honest with you.
Little beacon scuffle, but...
Little beacon scuffle, but there isn't much we can do about it as King Arthur now brings the Robin into the air. Robin decides to up-down and gets absolutely mollywopped by this King Arthur. As now Issa and Sadolf are now two versus...
die over an up-down.
This is the third. Raz ends up killing the support. As now there is more fighting happening, by the way, but I wanted to go to duo because there's a 1v1 happening over there. Looks like it's a 1v1 that the free agents are actually winning, as Ryu gets a solo kill. It's now a level and a half up, and it is good. It is a thing of good. He got a kill.
Right.
He did the thing.
That did happen. A thing did
And
occur.
he tilted the enemy ADC. That's what that was. That's what that spam ping was. 100%.
Showing off that first pick, Hachiman. Doing really well.
Yeah,
over
you
there.
know, he's doing
Especially
well.
with
He's
zero
staying in
health.
his lane. You know, he's got 2,000 gold in hand. Let's look at net worth. He's right up there. He's above literally everybody else, except for the King Arthur. You know, that's
Right.
that's a great look, honestly, for this ADC right here. He can play Hachiman. You know, that's a good look. That's a real good look.
He met the base, the bare minimum qualifications to play ADC nowadays.
Yeah,
I'm
that
really
that is
happy
true.
about that.
That is the truth. Yeah, and that's a good sign. That is a really good sign.
Poseidon also just slightly up over this Merlin in XP as well.
Yeah, slightly up. I think about a half level up, honestly. As no bobbles yet.
Right.
How interesting.
No bubbles.
But
I
we're a
also don't
level
expect
up
to see a
in.
bubble until.
Yeah, we are a half level up in mid and in carry, which is awesome. We are, however, 2 levels down in solo and support, and 3 levels down in jungle again.
Right.
I need to see
I don't think I
Xenos
really want to
not
be
up
looking
down.
for a gank if I'm this Robin here. I think I would prefer to be able to go back and get my beads online.
Now,
So you
I
don't
have
end up
to
dying to the
agree.
Susano.
Either get the beads online or just try to secure some farm.
Right. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, this Arthur is going to be a menace. He decides to finally.
Is already a menace, is what I think you meant to say.
Right.
Speaking of being a menace, Susano is now looking for the Achilles. Just kidding, actually. He is just trying to strip farm. As Susano is alone, way out of position, but let's see if anyone can actually capitalize on it. Nope, no one can. A good 3 away means that JJ should be just fine to survive here, but a good stun directly on the Merlin damage means that he survives with just 1 HP. As Ryu gets another solo kill onto the Shablanke, it's a good sign. But unfortunately, everything else is happening on the solo side of the map. That's not where we want to play if we are the free agent boys. As it's now a 3v4. Almost a 4v4. A good ultimate into the tower means that the King Arthur should be falling here. Yes, a good execute will mean that he does. It's a big shutdown for the Achilles, but unfortunately it comes at the cost of his life and the Robin. And the Poseidon. A 3-for-2 trade across the map. It is not looking great. I'm not going to lie to you.
It looks like Banished is now ready to go start doing objectives. Unfortunately, we just are not fighting around our fed as hell Hachiman.
Yeah, that is rather unfortunate. We have the Typhoon. You know, we have the Susano ultimate securing the objective, and that's going to be the biggest point of contention, I think, whether or not the Poseidon ult or the Susano ult will end up being best secure on map. And I hate to say it, but it's Susano.
Can you tell me the last time you actually saw a Kraken come out correctly?
This game or overall?
Yes.
I mean, this game, you know, I feel like the correct Kraken was the Kraken on the King Arthur as they were diving to T2. That was actually a really good Kraken. However, if we're talking about secure.
Objective.
We're talking about on objective. We're talking about securing something. I would argue season 6.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
What season are we in now?
Season 11. Yeah, it's been about 6 years or so. You know, just casual about 6 years.
I really don't think Kraken is very good as a secure tool. Really good as a team fight tool.
It's just phenomenal as a team fight tool. Sad as a... really, really sad as an objective secure tool. So I'm gonna have to leave you for a little bit. Let me know who you want to be centered on here. I have to go real quick.
Just throw us on
Karen. All right.
Yeah, no, it looks like just another little quiet standstill where we get the rest of the farm up off the map. maybe the Banished start looking towards getting this Gold Fury. Robin about to be stuck in between three members. Ooh, no, everybody goes the opposite direction. Karen baited everybody out. The Banished team gets some rewards after this Gold Fury fight, but now we're fighting around our Hachiman, almost paying immediate dividends, but our Hachiman ends up having to ult out. Gonna end up eating a lot of damage, but the Karen ult coming in gonna be able to peel for this Hachiman very well. Robin gonna get the back end of Typhoon. Hachiman gets pulled back in by the Susanoo Blink 2, and it looks like this Hachiman is gonna go down, getting a little bit more gold towards the Susanoo, and it is going to be a free Gold Fury for this Banished team. And then in looks like in solo lane we have a little kerfuffle going on here between the Poseidon, Achilles, and this King Arthur. And the King Arthur is coming out on top of this. Oh, no. Oh, Arthur able to take out the Poseidon in that 2v1.
You really hate to see it. You really do.
It's it very much so sucks. But Poseidon is able to get the refrag for himself, the martyrdom kill. So very little hectic for those last minute, but very much needed for this game. The Banished have finally broken out and gotten a pretty decent gold lead. I wonder if maybe they'll start looking towards getting a Fire Giant off the map and push to get the rest of these towers.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. However, I would like to give kudos to free agent team number 1. They're still in it, right? It's definitely not lost. It's not like the last game. Something I do need to see is more out of this Ravana. He's kind of just walking around. I need to see him kind of get in there, not, do what he did earlier in the jungle. But with that being said, at the same time, I feel like Banished might be playing with their food right here in a lot of ways where they can just kind of do fire. Don't get me wrong, Poseidon has the best map secure on the map currently. But you have X-Ball ult, you have Yamoja walls, you have a lot of different ways. You have Susanoo, which has been able to consistently be able to stay on this Poseidon here. And look at that, absolutely dumpstering this Ravana. Even more of a reason to start this Fire Giant. Ravana does not have ultimate to get in there.
And Rob's usually a very slippery god to kind of keep down due to having, two forms of CC immunity as well as movement in his kit. But man, is this just not his game right now.
Ooh.
Probably a little bit flustered off those couple early deaths and really has not gotten back into form left.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I wish I kind of got to see game 1, but look at this X-Ball ult to the Yamoja walls here. And this is an absolute dumpster here.
Good attempt at the Kraken on the feet there from the side. But they are going to get a couple refrags. The Hachiman does end up coming in. Definitely the highlight of this team right now. And Arthur's going to get the execute off. It is a 1-for-2 trade. Free agents definitely have some more gas in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, really, they're only about. I mean, they are 7.5K down. However, I mean, like you said, it's 2 for 1. I'll take that any day. Trying to get back into it. X-Ball nowhere to be seen on map, so that's something that they have to worry about. You see those pings coming out on the left-hand side, so they're probably not going to start this fire. Just try to take their wins where they can.
Right.
Rather than trying to push that Fire Giant or push anything else, because you don't have your secure and Kraken, but they might start it now with Poseidon coming up right now.
It's definitely a good call to probably just keep playing around Hachiman this game.
Yeah.
Ryu did get off at a crazy early lead. Surprised we didn't really get to see him played around more by the team, but...
Right, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious about this X-Ball. He's kind of pushing nothing. I definitely feel like he would be much more impactful with the team rather than split pushing. Don't get me wrong, he's now had to pull away the other team to the left-hand side, so they get a free beacon, no contention there. But I would really like to see this X-Ball kind of group up, kind of starts team fighting properly.
Right. Yeah, I think we're at the stage where all 5 members of both teams really need to be grouped up and pushing together, especially in these little skirmishes that are going on. Can't really have the King Arthur pushing into a 1v2 or
right.
the Susano diving. Susano diving in now is not going to end up very well for him unless his team is behind him to follow up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right now, the Merlin is 2 levels down on the Poseidon. I don't really know how. I don't know what's happened there. This guy must just be straight up starved for farm. Charon
Right.
coming out through here. Like, he's gonna show through. Oh, Ravano! X-Ball.
Robin onto the X-Bomb. And the free agent team does end up stealing the Oni Fury. Robin, though, going to be a sacrifice, but that is kind of worth it right now. Because, oh, maybe he doesn't end up going down. He will definitely
No, he
going
doesn't.
down.
Looks like Ford is back, so I'm going to hand it off over to him.
Yes, I am. However,
Oh
Ryu
no,
just
Hachiman
hinted.
left
That's
all by himself
unfortunate.
against Ford. Messes up the ult ends up running into the wall. Yeah, can't be leaving your carry like that. You gotta make
No,
sure
you definitely can't.
he's at least got his support with him.
Or
And
even,
the Achilles.
if not the support, just someone, right?
What?
Anyone.
What a teleport, man! Just his.
Hey, you know what? He wanted to make sure that he
Well,
was there.
Mhm.
No one can say he wasn't with the team, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's important to him.
This
Speaking
is
of
a
important,
wild build out of Poseidon. I'm not gonna lie.
it is a wild and for sure. I'm expecting a last item Soul Reaver. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I didn't get
You know,
a
even-
comment on it last game, but Hachiman now going the correct cowl upgrade.
Bring
Objectively.
up the player damage cards. Yeah, that's about what I expected.
Yeah, this is about what is to be expected. King Arthur is kind of just doing it by himself, you know. Speaking of getting it done by
Right.
himself, Issa is getting nothing done by himself other than perhaps a trip to the grayscale. Very close, but he does end up falling here as now Ryu is on not the right target as Kraken was used on the King Arthur. But now a good blink means that the ADC might just end up falling down. Shibalanke ends up catching the support off guard, but the ADC ends up getting traded out in return. It's a 3-for-1 across the board with two
that is
real
tough.
low people.
That is putting us back in the point of the banished team here. As they probably could have gotten this Phoenix, but looks like they're gonna fall back and start up.
They were
Fire
very
Jet.
low, you know, and that is important. It is important to recognize, hey, we were all low. It wasn't worth going for it. We get it. We get it.
Ooh, Lotus Sickle coming out of the Umoja. Always forget about that item. Low key, very good. And while we're still in a little bit of a lull here, as we watch the Banished team just farm up for what I'm assuming is maybe this last Shibalanke item, Brusher, or the Titans game.
Likely the Titans.
How do you
main.
feel about that?
I don't like it. I would have preferred the Odysseus bow, but you know me and my propensity to want Odysseus bow.
Right.
Now that being said, I think Oboe is the correct play because you went the Death's Embrace. You are already making it to where your attack speed is going to hurt. You don't want it to hurt more.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of hurting more, oh my god.
We just paused.
Who just
No,
paused?
we
Who the fuck
passed.
just paused? Which one of you bastards just paused this game?
Who's combat pausing in our Lord's Year of 2024? This is wild.
Oh, it was JJ that DC'd. Shame, JJ. Shame him. Shame him.
Shame.
Imagine getting disconnected.
Oh, man.
See, Telshort gets it. Shame on him.
Shame the non-believer. Shame.
See,
I think
he
despite
gets it,
maybe
he
a miracle play
understands.
coming out, this
It was likely done and
Okay, this-
dusted. realistically, and there are some things to definitely look back on that are positives, right? And some things to look back on that need to be improved for this free agent team. I think the biggest thing for Xenos is he needs to learn how to play through the winning lane. You know,
Right.
and that's a skill, right? It's something that you have to learn, right? It's something that you can learn, but you need to learn it, right? That's the biggest problem with it.
Yeah, it's a jungler's comfort food is being on the solo side of the map, so.
Very true, but solo isn't always going to be the lane that wins, right? So recognizing, hey, this is my winning lane. I need to farm up. I need to get over there. We need to play through where I'm getting this dub matters a lot more.
Right.
So I do have a slight update. It appears as if the person that DC'd legitimately lost power.
Oh, no.
Still shame the non-believer.
Right. Shame. Hot take. Stone of Gaia first on junglers should be meta from Telshore in chat. Any follow-up on that hot take?
You know, that is certainly a hot take. As in you burned it. Get out. Get out of the kitchen. Out. Out. If you are playing a character that is not Jing Shen, out. Leave. We don't want you here. We don't need you here. You have been fired. You are no longer culinary staff.
I can appreciate the haha more damage, but Robin really... Maybe it is just a no tank items diff here. If Realist Stone of Gaia would go hard versus banished comps.
I mean, it would, right? And we can talk about how Stone of Gaia could fit into one of the more tanky members' builds, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But my only concern with not being on the tanky members' side, right, is Stone of Gaia is much more useful when you have that health scaling to begin with.
Right.
I think Elraz is vibing.
Right.
In the chat. Get out of here,
Elraz
buddy.
in chat.
Out.
You're not allowed to be in here, I'm pretty sure.
We know you're trolling. But now we're actually talking about it. That's how trolls happen, by the way. Then we talk about it. Elraz.
Yeah.
Out.
So Elraz, I don't actually believe you're supposed to be watching the stream because we don't have Fog of War.
No, no jungle fog. No. Honestly, no maidens either, and it's unfortunate here, Dash. Truly.
Right. I'm a mirror. Okay. When? Okay.
Well, we are going to wait for
Aphrodite would have won them the game here. That's all I'm saying.
I've been trying to get
support.
JJ on that train for literal years.
It's
not
so good.
Not actually years, but I've been saying it. I've been saying, hey, just pick the Afro. He can play it, so that's how it's gotta be sometimes. That's how it's gotta be, buddy.
I hit Masters on Aphrodite. That's all I'm saying.
Exclusively on Aphrodite, by the way. He didn't play anyone else, and they just kept giving it to him, legitimately.
Oh my gosh.
I was against him in one of those games. I outsupported the fuck out of him, and we still lost because he was just Aphrodite.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just talking about things until we can get the game back on. More stream snipers. I know Isa is also not supposed to be in the stream right now.
That is true. Yeah, you are not supposed to be here. Go ahead and get out. But
shame.
Yeah.
Shame. Both teams.
Shame on
both teams.
Shame on both teams. You're allowed to come back after the game. Just mute the stream.
We may need to
Yeah.
tell Loshak to tell the players
Yeah,
that.
I think. Oh no, that they should all know.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Loshak, would you mind hopping down to FA1 and talking with the boys? You know, doing some admin work. As we're waiting. It appears that the support that did DC can no longer come back into the game. Their power is completely out. It's a blackout, not a brownout. So, realistically, 27 minutes in, bit under 10k gold lead. 300 gold maybe, yeah.
I think if it was a... I think there's a rule on it. I think it's 10k. Is it 20k up?
Yeah, 20k
And
up
they
is
have
the
a-
mercy rule. However, they
Right.
are going to be playing with a deficit. They are going to be playing without a support. Right, so that's
Right.
more the thing. I can tell you right now, there won't be a reset for this. If
No.
y'all get into a game 3, that's
We
cool.
are. We are post. I think it's. Isn't it 15 minutes to get a reset?
Yeah, the 15-minute mark is the
And-
reset.
Yeah.
So let's Loshak, my dude, you here? Look, man, I'm the casting guy, all right? I'm the media
Bro,
director.
We've been
I ain't-
casting
I ain't,
for about 6 hours.
Oh, we have, yes, that is true. About 5, right?
5 hours.
As they do end up unpausing and then
Oh.
repausing. We just got some action.
let's
We saw the movement. You know, the movement's crazy. The tech's crazy.
We got about 3 frames worth of action there.
It's insane, honestly. Maybe Hachiman threw like 4. Yeah, you should be. Don't worry. All right. Hold
They
on.
banished him. Boo.
Yeah, they did.
That
They
hurts
did
my
banish
soul.
him. They did in fact banish him. Was that
Yep.
Loshak?
I think
No, that was
Loshak.
Misa. That was Misa. Hey, Misa is also helping them, I think.
Yeah.
No. So, yeah, it looks like they're just going to be playing it out 4v5. Let's see what happens. Hey, you never know, man. You never know. Unfortunately, JJ is unluckily.
I think the
just
odds went
going
from
to-
90-10 to 99-1% that the
Honestly,
creation-
I think we were at 95-5er, and now it's like 99.99 to 0.01%er.
Gotcha. Right.
There has to
They
be
had the
some
odds of about
serious
what?
misplays.
Let me check. Let me check what Dogecoin is at right now. Not Dogecoin, but Shiba Inu coin. You know, my one cryptocurrency I have.
Oh,
See,
okay, right on.
see how this is gonna look. You know, I think that'll be my odds here.
Game is unpausing. We are getting back into this. As all right, hey, we have some action. Speaking of some action, hey, what's up, buddy? I am Poseidon. Speaking of being Poseidon, hey, there's Fire Giant. Guess who's not here to help try to steal it? No fault of his
1/30,000th of a chance. You know, that's what it is. We all love a good zone. Arthur just coming in, being like, "Haha, I'm here."
Arthur saying, haha, I'm here. We have the ADC pushing the other side of the world. As now it is a 2 versus 5. Can they do a 3v5 as Ryu has yet to back? A good tidal wave means that the Poseidon is not going to die. A good Aegis means that they don't actually end up losing anything other than the jungler who goes a bit too deep. As now we are going through the process of what will likely be the end.
Right. I'm just gonna say it now. If Banished somehow don't get at least all 3 birds here, they are straight trolling.
Honestly, they don't even have to get all 3 birds. They could just end now. Yeah, now,
This
actually.
is a 3v5.
As Ryu ends up
3v2,
having to fall.
5v2.
It's now a 5v2. as yeah, we
Wait, why are they backing?
vibing.
Why is Raz backing?
brothers? My
This is straight troll.
this
Kraken's down, Achilles ult's down. You have 5 people. This is I hate to admit it, but it is 100% trolling.
yeah, this is definitely trolling for honestly, not even for them, it's trolling for the other teams that are waiting for us to cast them at this point. 29 minutes into this game, and hey, you know what? JJ finished his prof book before he DC'd. That's a positive.
Yeah, I'm proud of him. That's
good
that's
for
pretty
him.
hot. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, good for him. He deserved it. You know, he earned it.
Yeah.
As now, again, it's a solid 1v2 for the carries. Was that one Loshak? Did Loshak finally? Yeah, Loshak's finally there! Hey! He went to the free agent chat. Let's go! Finally heard what we were talking about.
This is a bit troll coming out of the Banish team here.
A little
Probably
bit. They could definitely just do it. Alright, they could definitely just move in and end. As, the Banish. The Banish could definitely just go and end here. But you know what? Bright side? They got their speed buff.
Right.
I'm proud of them.
Oh, Xenos. Everybody has finished starter items this game. I'm impressed. Good job.
That is impressive, honestly. That is rad. Speaking of rad, you know what's not rad? Poseidon getting mollywopped here, and bada bing bada boom, you are dead. You were out of position, and now you die. The surrender vote has started. So we'll see if they even,
I did say earlier not to surrender ever, but, I'm kind of okay
this is the exception, right?
Yeah.
But you don't even need to get the surrender through, realistically. It was a 5v2. No ults could save you there. Unlucky that JJ's power went out. There was still some possibility to come back. But it was handedly in the Banished hands this entire set, realistically.
Right. Well, I don't really have too much to follow up on that, outside of maybe Xenos getting a little more comfortable with playing through his winning lane. But other than that, it's just kind of unfortunate that the Charon did end up not being able to finish out this game.
Yes, that game could have lasted probably another 40 minutes if given the opportunity. And
I would have loved that.
We are very thankful that that did not happen. Ooh, all right. So, next up is going to be Pixies versus The Shine. That's going to be our semifinal set that we are going to be watching here, Dash. And The Shine handedly 2-0'd the Kappa Corp named team. Pixies ended up 2-0'ing the free agent team 2, the ones that we casted in that first set. And they definitely were impressive for what it was worth, that team 2. They definitely did go hard. As we are now in the final zone, if you will. We are in the semifinals for this tournament. It only took us about 5 hours, but we are here. We are ready.
We're here. We made it.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's all right. It'll be fixed for next tournament. We'll be doing best of ones until semifinals. That's how that's gonna go. But for this tournament, it's gonna still be best of 3s. So we'll catch you in the semifinals. Oh, brother. I don't think there's much more to talk about this game, honestly, or this set.
No.
Other than what we already did. Unlucky. Unlucky DC. Power went out.
Yeah.
Could have had it.
Yeah. I was like, they were like, what do we need to do? I was like, technically we would go up a league rules, so you have, what is it, like, it's like 30 minutes? It's like 15 to 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, we aren't going to do that.
Right, I was like, yeah, you guys can just...
yes, Pixies and The Shine are going to be the streamed games. Speaking of...
They said they're already in lobby. Do you want to swap off for it and have me?
if you would like to. If not, I'm still down to spectate.
Okay, I mean, if you're still down to, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm down.
Still down to. Okay, they're in picks and B's right now. You can. Do you have?
Yeah, hold on.
residual
I'll
arc?
do this. Cutting the stream. Don't worry. Hey, everybody, we're back. Yeah, I do have arc. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, it'd be him.
Yeah, all right, right on, right on. And spectate.
Yep.
Hopefully, no passwords. As we are getting right into this death segment with Loshak and Misa. Misa, this is your team, right?
Yes, so this is actually the KC Pixies. This is the team that I manage. I do pretty much all of the managerial for them, whether it's setting up scrims or getting subs or anything like that. Handle it. I've kind of, given these boys a little bit of a coaching session on how to play into some of the other teams and stuff like that. So you'll be seeing a lot of my drafts here. Should definitely be interesting to see it, though. I got faith in my boys.
And, I think you definitely should, as we... I think I stopped it and started it too fast. That is unlucky.
Rip.